obviously a lot of things have happened in the last week since we talked, and I know you kind of want to give us an update on how it's affected Baldwinsville, what you guys seen, and what we're doing here to help. So, how was your week, Chief? What's been going on?
Our week's been good. We've had a few things that I want to bring the public up to speed about and make them aware. First and foremost is that we have had a number of calls regarding individuals that were not socially distancing properly. Those have centered a little bit around some of our parks, as well as the playgrounds at the school area and some other locations. So I know County Executive McMahon yesterday issued an order asking people to voluntarily shelter in place. He closed golf courses effective tonight. I actually found that out when I was on the golf course yesterday myself at Radisson by myself playing golf. But here at the police department, we would certainly encourage everyone to do exactly just that. Stay at home, stay out of the public places with other people, unless it's absolutely critical that you go to a store, pick up some medicine or pick up some critically needed supplies. But otherwise, we would really ask you to stay at home, not go to the parks and be close to each other. Certainly, if you want to use our park to walk and get some fresh air, that's wonderful. Just do it in a socially responsible manner, because we have had a number of those types of complaints over the last week.
Can I ask, when you get those complaints, what does your department do? Do you go out, or has it already happened and there's not much you can do about it at that point, or what's the protocol for that?
Our policy is, and what we've advised our officers, is that we are going to respond to all those complaints. We're going to go there. Hopefully, if we can identify the people involved, our goal is to talk to them, do some public education, stress the need for this. And then our ultimate goal is just to gain some voluntary compliance. I know that the county executive has spoken that it is a misdemeanor offense to violate some of these orders, and that is true. We would certainly not want to go the criminal arrest route if we don't have to. That's not our intent. Our goal is to get everyone as much as possible to just simply comply with the shelter in place, the stay-at-home orders, to be as safe as possible, so we can kind of stop the curve on this thing here. I was in communication with a friend of mine this morning, works at a local hospital, is a nurse there. Obviously, it's very scary for those folks. They are on the front lines of this. Our officers are going into people's homes on a regular basis as well. We've had a number of domestic disputes, which we kind of anticipated, because people that are normally not home together now are. Couple that with the stress of everyday life, the situation that's going on. Some folks have obviously been furloughed or laid off. We understand that there's a lot of stressors occurring, and so our officers are going into people's homes as well on the front lines and not knowing the health status of those individuals. So we would really ask and plead for everyone to remain home as much as you can.
That being said, obviously the stress, whether it's job related, just spending more time together than you typically have in the past, things like that. That is the nice thing about at least being out. I believe it's every other day now. You go take a walk, get out, get a peace of mind outside. Just do it either alone or with the family members you're already living with, right, at that point. So
yes, that's exactly what the county executive is asking for, and we certainly can't agree with him more. We know the stress impacts people a lot of different ways. We did make an actual DWI arrest this past week because the person was posing a real risk to public safety, and that occurred at 9 o'clock in the morning. This individual was more than twice the legal limit. Mm-hmm. So, it's still a dangerous situation for us on occasion, as well as the coronavirus, and there's still everyday life occurring. So as much as people can stay home and shelter in place, that would certainly help us do our job more effectively as well. Our business check program, we think, is going very well. Our officers have been doing a wonderful job with that. We've identified nearly 200 locations and businesses in the village that we're checking every shift. And last week we actually had an incident occur at one of these locations where some damage had been done. Fortunately, it had just occurred a short time before. Our officer on the scene did a really good job, identified a young child that had caused damage, and that family is taking care of the cost to make those repairs. No arrest or anything was necessary, but it kind of speaks to the success of the program and the diligence that our officers are putting forward, and I do appreciate their hard efforts.
As you know, I have a business or a building down into the village, and there's often I come in the morning and there's a blue slip of paper that lets me know somebody was there and they checked the locks and that everything was good overnight. So that is reassuring when you leave your building and, at night, go home to your family, and then to come back in the morning and to see that. So I know I appreciate, I'm sure the other businesses do as well. I do have one question for you. I believe it was 2 weeks ago we talked, and you said that because our court was closed, that you were doing virtual types of arraignments. How's that going? Just do you see it being like kind of an easy process? Does it make it a little bit harder, or hopefully maybe you haven't had to do it yet? But
we actually haven't had to do an arraignment yet. Any arrest that we've had, we've just simply had to issue an appearance ticket and release that individual to a responsible third party. So we have it all set up. We have a laptop in our booking room. We did a couple test runs with the Office of Court Administration. I know a couple of other agencies, they've had to experience that, and there's always some technical glitches involved with anything new, but at the end of the day, they were able to get that accomplished.
Good. And it's nice to hear that in Bevo you haven't had to use it yet. I mean, obviously it's good to have the process in place, but I definitely always feel safe living here. And even at a time like this, I know in the beginning when it was unknown, people thought maybe there'd be all kinds of different problems happening at night. It doesn't seem like you're having that at all. For the most part, even though people are congregating together, they're not practicing social distancing. They're not also going out and destroying anything or really breaking any major laws here, which is nice.
Not yet, and I think maybe part of that is because our officers are being very active on patrol. They're not spending a lot of time in the police department. They're out and about. If they're not doing business checks, they're doing some neighborhood checks. To kind of circle back to one of your comments about our blue cards, that is a standard program that we do, but for right now, we've kind of pulled back on actually doing the cards themselves, just so we can spend more time trying to get as many businesses and locations and residential neighborhoods our presence in as much as possible. So we're not leaving the cards, but be assured that every property is being checked in the village multiple times a day.
Oh, good. That is good. I actually have to venture out for the first time. I think I told you in the past that I closed on a house, and in real estate, you never know what's going to happen. So we're doing closings virtually. They've been done in parking lots, or it's been a one-on-one. So even the essential businesses that have to happen, it seems like there's safe protocols being in place, and social distancing, 6 feet away in a parking lot or in an office. So this will be the first time I'm closing in a manner that is social distanced, but I just appreciate the fact that the courts and everybody and the attorneys, everybody is still working so that that type of process can still happen, yourself included. You guys coming in every day and working enables the things that have to happen are still happening. We just don't need to be doing the things that are more like wants as opposed to needs, if that makes sense.
It does, and we're social distancing here at the police department. At my office door, we actually have there's a piece of tape on the floor that lets the officers know where not to come back to. It's basically at the doorway. That's about 7 to 8 feet from my desk, and so for my office, it's there, and our communications up front. No one goes past that doorway there. We've got a good sized squad room that we can put 2 officers in the squad room at any one time. So we only allow that. Any gatherings of more than 2 individuals, and we go next door to our large village hall meeting room, and so for anything for 3 or more people. So we're really trying to follow our social distancing guidelines, even within our building. Our locker room and our workout room upstairs, we're only allowing 1 person into the workout room at a time, and it can only be done after their shift because we are asking our officers to either self-screen themselves before they come to work with a thermometer at home, or a thermometer when they get here. So we're trying to follow those same guidelines that everyone else is.
And that's good to hear. So, well, thank you, Chief, for again your time, because I know you're busy, but we definitely appreciate the updates. I've had people reach out to me and say thank you for doing the interviews, but obviously I'm sitting at home waiting for real estate to get up and going again. And I love these community videos. It's guys like you that are still working that are taking the time to update us. So we definitely appreciate it.
Well, it's a great opportunity for me to talk to the community. I've had a lot of positive feedback on Facebook as well, and in our webpage, both my personal page as well as the department's page. And if anyone's got any questions, feel free to maybe send them in to police@baldwinsville.org is our email. I'll see those, and if people do have questions, it's something that chances are someone else might have them as well. We can discuss them in this type of forum, so everyone has a chance to get some feedback. But I really appreciate it, and it's a great opportunity.
Good. Well, I look forward to talking to you next week. Stay safe and stay healthy. Okay, Chief?
You do the same. Take care.